Hello, Christian. Today, the next very, very hot topic, drones. And of course, it's not hot topic in the postal industry. It was 10 years ago with a lot of trials, tests, etc. But around the world, it's absolutely hot topic. What we observe in military industry is completely boom and change of technology. I heard some ideas from this environment that technology changes in 1 week. So it means that if it change in military, then it will come to civil usage and civil and commercial usage. So what does it mean? It's of course the control on drones probably changes very fast. Also, payload can change very fast, which is very important for us for logistics. But still nothing what we see, nothing. It's really in. There is no big change in what we see in the logistics, and it may be. But let's discuss a little bit what happened. I have few ideas about the barriers and I have few ideas about potential usage. Let's discuss. Let's start with the thing may it happen, or rather we need to wait. I don't know, maybe 10 years more.
I'm more of the last one. I think it's not going to be something that's going to fall from the sky very fast, so to speak. I think we've seen many of these initiatives, and I think that the calculations are not bad either. But I think there are so many constraints which are coming from both public, but also coming from management, which is coming from regulatory. Right now, we know that if you see a drone more or less outside a touristic area, everybody is screaming that we need that somebody is attacking or somebody is doing things. Airports are shutting down and all that. So I think that there is also a little bit of hostility amongst these robots right now. I think that they can perform quite a lot of solutions. There's not that. And I think that I'm thinking about if I should use drones right now, it would be for surveillance. It would be maybe as a part of a yard management system where we need to monitor some areas where we don't have possibilities to put in cameras because they're too expensive. But still, even a drone operated model where you need to have let's say almost a 24-hour surveillance is actually quite expensive to build the use cases. So it needs to be something that where you get the right value out of it. I have also been talking to companies now because you have drones that can carry 500 kilo, even more. I think that I saw some years ago. I saw a startup that was working with DB Schenker, and they were transporting items to islands which weighed up to 1.5 ton. It was more like a drone, like looked like almost like a helicopter. So you have these possibilities, and we know that Royal Mail has done a program for years now, flying drones to islands, and according to them, also with huge success. And I think that reaching islands could be somewhere where you actually increase the speed quite a lot. Speed matters, and that's why we also see that drones has worked very well in Africa, where we're talking about getting. I think Zipline is moving medicine across the whole continent very fast to areas where you usually can't reach in a short time. So there are these logistical operations which also make sense, but from a postal and carrier point, I think that it will take some years before we will embrace it, I would say, and also see if we have the possibilities of doing it. So yeah, I'm happy to hear what kind of ideas you have.
First, I also heard about this successful operation of Royal Mail, but I also heard that there is problem with bad weather. So it works very well, and of course it's much faster than typical boat. But anyway, if the weather is bad, you cannot use it, and it's not sustainable. You cannot repeat it. It's like using railways in Europe for parcel line hauls. You cannot use it because I'm not sure if it will not stop in the middle of the country. Maybe it's cheap, maybe it's fast, but not reliable. And of course, another example of very famous case with Swiss Post, which deliver to mountains, and they finally resigned from this initiative. I think it's still functioning, but without the postal operator, but with the company which operates drones. The same zipline. Zipline is good idea, but that's very specific to the delivery of medicines on long distance in Africa. It has some usage, but we always thought that drones can deliver parcels to the gardens, to the yards. That still can be possible, I think. The idea of a lot of drones in the car which can pick up parcel and go around in the village or rural area and leave the parcel in the yards. Maybe this is the idea which is feasible. Regulations is huge problem. What you said, and I don't know. In Dubai now you cannot fly drones at all. And
Mm.
if your operations are based on drones, it will not be possible to perform it. There's a big problem in some countries. There are a lot of challenges with flying drones and regulations
Yeah.
around it. But anyway, I think that the technology can change, and technology can change in the way it will be more feasible from the payload, from the cost, especially cost, because before when I work on drones topics, cost was one of the biggest problem because training of the pilot and cost of the pilot, which controls even few drones at the same time, is very high. So it's much higher than cost of drivers. But that was also good idea. Yeah, sounds good that you can deliver parcels, but not from to the final receiver, but to the parcel lockers. And it can be in your parcel locker in few minutes, for example, from the urban warehouse to your parcel lockers in minutes, and it can be delivered. It doesn't matter about the traffic and everything like that. So I I believe in this technology. It develops as fast as we see, and it should be some change. It should be some leverage on this technology on the logistics. But I'm still looking forward to what it could be.
Yeah, and I think you're right that we know that these technologies can work, but I think that you need some kind of emergency in order to activate them. I think that if you have a crisis, earthquakes and stuff like that, you see the drones are coming in, to transport medicals into areas where they can't get. You see, during fires, you use the drones even to carry fire hoses in Asia. You need to step a little bit beyond your safety pattern in order to see that the usage is going to be a little bit more widespread. And I think that it's a perfect tool. It can cross rivers where the bridges are broken and stuff like that, where we don't have the other possibilities. And I think that is when we have these situations, that I think we will see that some of these use cases will come up. But it also has to take it. If you were walking in the streets of Warsaw or in Copenhagen, and you have a swarm of drones flying over your head, I don't know if I would feel super safe right now. if they dropped if they dropped, like they do in China, they deliver coffee fresh to you at the campus when you're sitting there studying. I don't know if I would be feeling so safe about that, but I think the possibilities are there, but our problem was always that you needed to think about the whole process. A little bit like we talked about other robots, where you need to make sure how are you getting the goods to the drone, and how are you getting the goods off the drone. Because we actually did some tests, some calculations also on flying letters to the islands. We have thousands of islands outside Stockholm, but there you also have pragmatic solutions. You have one person who's probably distributing for an island for 1 hour or 30 minutes or something like that. It's a job that they have on top of all their normal things. And the transport with the ferries was almost for free. So you didn't have any cost to substitute your calculations with. That it didn't make a ROI. So you have to really figure out where does this make sense, as you say. I can still see that in countries where you have a lot of areas where you can fly where outside where people are, there it can make
Uh-huh,
sense.
uh-huh.
I think that this is some of the things that, because there you don't have the same safety aspect as if you have to fly in a city. There you could probably argument for that you could do these mid-mile transports, especially maybe to areas where you have areas where you have transport one way. They are not producing anything in this area, but they are actually only receiving. And there you have the possibility for a very, very cheap transport that way, because it's extremely expensive to transport with trucks or whatever to go to an area where you never have any transport back. That's what we learned from the day one, saying, if you want to be a good transporter, you need to have goods both ways. So there you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
flying a drone back with something that weighs 500 kilo. Is extremely cheap compared to having a truck on the road.
So we have some use cases, but they are not regular deliveries at the moment. Maybe there is some breakthrough in technology, but we don't see it yet.